The silence is the worst part. It settles after the screaming stops, a heavy blanket of dust and failure. Two hunters carry what is left of Owen between them, a grim procession moving from the failed spear, all back toward the mouth of the cave. His shield of wave and river reed and hardened hide is shattered, splintered by a force that does not claw or bite, but strikes like a falling stone axe. The others follow, their own spears held low, their heads constantly turning. They do not watch the trees. They watch the tall, swaying grasses of the savanna, the spaces in between. The threat is not some lumbering giant easily seen from a distance. This is a challenge unique to these ancient humans, a new kind of fear that moves at the speed of a striking snake. They call them the axe beaks, a name born from the ruin they leave behind. The chronicler's term is pH or US or H acids, but that clinical sound does not capture the truth of them. They are a nightmare of feathers and bone, taller than a man with legs built for a speed that mocks the frantic pump of human limbs. And they are smart. That is the cold stone of dread in every hunter's gut. This is no simple beast. No lumbering triceratops to be goaded and bled. The terror birds learn. The interlocking shields and bristling spear points worked 3 times. The 4th time, one bird feigned a charge, drawing the spears, while 2 others exploded from the grass on the flank. They moved with a terrifying geometry, a pack intelligence that feels alien and deeply personal. Alan never saw the strike that killed him. Back in the cave, the fire does little to burn away the chill. The elders mutter, their faces etched with the hard lines of this unforgiving prehistoric life. The atlet, a tool that once gave them the reach of gods, is now little more than a noisemaker. The feathered darts cannot penetrate the thick hide and bone of the birds' chests, and a leg shot only enrages them. They seem to learn the arc of the weapon, sidestepping the projectiles with an almost contemptuous ease. This is an arms race of intellect, a battle of hominid history being written in blood on the dusty plains. The birds are winning. They are not just hunting for food, they are dismantling the clan's confidence, deconstructing their every defense. Every hunt is a lesson for them. Every human death is a new chapter in their textbook of slaughter. The clan is trapped in a cycle of response, while the axe beaks are the ones who dictate the terms of engagement, turning the very landscape into a weapon against the people who live upon it. And as dusk paints the sky in bruised colors, a sharp barking call echoes from the grasslands, not a cry of hunger, but one of patient, unnerving observation. Kale sits apart from the others, his knuckles white where he grips a piece of flawed flint. He is not a great hunter. His arm lacks the whip-crack power for the atlet, his legs the endurance for the long chase. His value to the clan has always been in his eyes, in the quiet way he observes the world's patterns. While the others mourn, he remembers the hunt before all ends last, when a sudden gust of wind tore a large branch from a dead tree, and the axe beaks, poised for a flanking run, had scattered in shrieking, genuine panic. They did not fear the hunter's organized threat, but they feared the unpredictable chaos of the world itself. They are masters of the expected, but terrified of the unknown. An idea, sharp and dangerous as the flint in his hand, begins to take shape in his mind. This is a crucial moment in the long, slow burn of human evolution, where observation is about to become a weapon. He approaches the elders, a small fire casting long, dancing shadows on the cave wall, making their grim faces look like masks of ancient stone. His voice is quiet at first, a whisper against the crackle of burning wood. He speaks not of strength, but of weakness. He talks of fear not as a thing to be endured, but as a tool to be wielded. They learn our shield wall, he says, his gaze steady. They learn the range of our darts. They hunt the hunter they cannot imagine. The elders shift their skepticism a palpable force. Torian, whose brother was the first to fall to the birds, scoffs. The boy speaks of tricks. We are warriors, not spiders spinning webs. But Kale persists, his voice gaining a desperate strength, a roar building from the whisper. He unrolls a scraped hide on the dusty floor, and with a piece of charcoal, he begins to draw. He sketches the local topography, the river and, crucially, the winding, narrow gorge to sunrises to the east. A place they call the Stone Moor. Here, he says, his finger tracing a path into the canyon. We do not fight them on the plains, where their speed is king. We lure them, appearing weak, injured. We bait the trap. He describes a plan of terrifying complexity. Pits filled with sharpened stakes hidden under woven grouse mats. Log deadfalls balanced on ledges, tethered by vines a single hunter can sever. He proposes turning the clan from a cornered animal into the ultimate ambush predator. For the first time, they would not be reacting to the hunt. They would be choreographing a slaughter. The plan is anathema to their traditions of honorable, face-to-face confrontation. But it is also the first spark of hope they have felt in moons. The silence that follows his words is different. It is not the silence of grief, but of a terrible, dangerous calculation. The bait is set. Kalind tore in move across the plain, a deliberate display of vulnerability. Torin limps, a convincing act born from a genuinely twisted ankle suffered days ago, the pain now a useful tool. Kale stumbles beside him, small and seemingly exhausted. From the tall grass, the axe beaks watch. Their sharp, barking calls are closer now, inquisitive, confident. They see two wounded stragglers an easy meal. The pack emerges, not in a rush, but in a calm, strategic crescent, cutting off any retreat. They have learned this formation well. They begin their patient, trotting advance, a feathered wall of death closing in. This is the first test of Kale's plan, to turn the bird's own intelligence against them. The two men do not run for the safety of the trees. They run for the open, gaping mouth of the stone moor. The chase is a desperate, lung-burning marathon. The birds are faster, closing the distance with terrifying ease. They try to flank the fleeing humans, to push them from the path. But the canyon walls begin to rise on either side, funneling them forward. Kalen tore in leap over the first hidden rigger vine, a signal to the clan members hidden on the ledges above. The lead bird, the pack sulphur, a massive creature with a scarred beak, crosses the same line a heartbeat later. The ground beneath it vanishes. A section of the canyon floor, a carefully disguised pitfall, gives way. The bird shrieks, a sound of fury and surprise as it drops onto a bed of sharpened stakes, their points crafted from the bones and horns of past kills, a grim application of osteoid ontogeratic technology. The pack's disciplined advance shatters. Confusion turns to rage. A second bird stumbles into another snare, its powerful leg caught in a vine noose that pulls taut, breaking the bone with a sickening crack. The remaining birds, now a disorganized mob, surge forward, their intelligence momentarily blinded by fury. They run directly into the kill zone. From the cliffs above, a volley of heavy, stone-tipped spears rains down. The shafts are not meant to kill, but to wound, to drive the birds deeper into the gorge. And then Kale, safely on a far ledge, gives the final signal. At the canyon's narrowest point, a lone hunter, the one given the most sacred and terrible task, cuts the final vine. A low rumble becomes a deafening roar as tons of rock and earth, a carefully prepared rockslide, peels away from the cliff face. It falls not as a collection of stones, but as an avalanche, a solid wall of geological time crashing down. The world becomes dust and thunder, a silence deeper and more final than any they have ever known. The clan emerges from the dust, their faces caked in grime, their eyes wide with a mixture of terror and awe. Below them lies a tomb of their own making, the reign of the axe beaks buried under the weight of a rearranged world. This was more than a hunt, it was a reconfiguration of the natural order. Here, in this blood-soaked canyon, the balance of power shifted not with the evolution of a sharper claw or a stronger jaw, but with the birth of a thought. This orchestrated slaughter born from desperation is a foundational moment in the sprawling, violent epic of human ancestors. It is the first time a weapon was not a thing held in the hand, but an idea held in the mind. The true trap was not the pit or the rockslide, it was the canyon itself, envisioned as a weapon, its very topography turned into an instrument of death. And this is the terrifying, beautiful truth of our species. What is courage? Or is it becoming the monster that the monsters fear? Here we find the answer. It is the audacity to see a mountain and, instead of a barrier, imagine a hammer. In the long chronicle of this planet, this is the moment intelligence declared itself the apex predator. The shadow of a thinking mind is the only one that never fades. But what happens when that shadow falls upon its own kind?